Region 4, and I've been with CDOT for just over a year now, a year and like 2 months. And my project of post-construction temporary control measure removal, I'm basically the creator of that innovation. And basically the whole point is to help remove these control measures that have been left on site that once a project has been completed, need removal, and maintenance needs to go out there to remove these control measures after us regional water pollution control managers have spoken with them.
What is a control measure?
So a control measure is basically, another word for it is best management practice, BMPs. And these are used on CDOT construction sites to help protect the site from having any pollution that might get into our sediment, into our water from leaving the site. So just as an example, a sediment control log, one of the most common ones, basically gets laid out at the limits of construction or limits of disturbance of the project, and they'll be put there to make sure that any sediment that might flow off the site is stopped and allows just for clean water to get through and leave the site.
Go ahead and tell me a high-level summary of the innovation.
So the innovation is to allow a more efficient methodology between us, regional water pollution control managers, and then maintenance in removing these control measures. They have to get these control measures removed once a project has reached 70% revegetation per the CDOT and state permit. And then maintenance needs to come out and remove these. And the innovation is basically cutting out a lot of the in-between downtime and location of these control measures. And it's using GIS, ArcGIS Pro, using GeoHub, CDOT's ArcGIS Online Enterprise version, and then using Field Maps app as well in locating these control measures.
What inspired your innovation, and what was the problem that it solved?
This basically came from a project that my what I call the manager of Region 4, Nick Shapansky, gave to me. Was State Highway 7 was a project that was done due to the 2013 flooding. So it's one of those projects that they had to go in and redo and make sure that if something like that were to happen again, it wouldn't over flood areas, damage roads, or take out people's homes, anything like that. So I was given this site to monitor and look over from post-construction phase. And what I had noticed when he told me to go and mark out all the temporary control measures still on site was that these were really hard to find. This is a long project, miles long, and there's lots of control measures out there. I'm talking miles of sediment control logs. And since he gave me the job to go out and record them all, so then I could basically let maintenance know where I was out there taking pictures. I was marking which mileposts they were near, giving some locations, easier ways of finding where these control measures are based on trees, hills, anything like that. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is a lot of effort. And even when I give them the pictures and everything, they still won't know exactly where they are. And that's a lot of pictures they're going to have to shift through. And as we know, maintenance is understaffed. They have a lot of work. They have to do snow plowing in the winter. And a season like we have currently, there's a lot of road work being done due to all the flooding that's occurring. So they're busy a lot, and they can't spend a lot of time out on these sites trying to find these temporary control measures. So I came up with the idea of recording these temporary control measures using ArcGIS. So I had researched all of this and basically got the idea of, I'm going to go out and record all these temporary control measures out in the field. And basically this allows maps to be given and pinpoint accuracy pretty much to maintenance to find these control measures. Now they're not going to have to be shifting through tall grass, looking over hills, spending time trying to find the ones I'm talking about just based on like some inaccurate pictures and locations and such as that, or other methodologies like spray painting areas, trees, stuff like that, like really for accurate, precise methodology.
How can others use your innovation, and do you have tips for them, i.e., another DOT utilizing this method?
Yes, actually, the fun thing about this has been I have helped other specialty units with pretty much the same concept and everything. Certain unit maintenance being specifically, I have helped out our maintenance people out in Region 4 in a couple different projects. Like they're using the same methodology of using GeoHub, Fields Map, and everything to help record those adopt a highway signs. So they go out and they just record that information out there right on the spot, and then they just have it on a map and they know exactly where these signs are, who has adopted it, and like the time of installation, time of removal. Another one is guardrails. That one's in the works right now, being used to record guardrails, information about them, and then will they need replacement, or do they have the correct pieces attached to it? Another one is potholes. That's a big one. And it's also another innovation that was submitted to. So there's another one. And yeah, and it's been growing. The whole concept of using GeoHub, now that everyone has access to it throughout CDOT, Field Maps app, which is just so easy to use out in the field. It's just for recording information, taking pics of what you're looking at. It's very simple. It's been growing. It seemed like it really wasn't doing much. And then when I came on board, and then Kelly Wagren, who's also in my region, who I've been working with on most of these projects as well, we have been expanding with all their specialty units pretty much. And then with maintenance and hopefully engineers soon too. And then with what I can give advice for is, if you have an idea, do the research on it. I did a lot of research to make sure like what I was thinking of was actually viable. That's probably the main thing. If it's not viable, it's not going to be able to happen. And I was just because I looked up what CDOT had new with GeoHub, the new Field Maps app, and it kind of just came together at the right time. But I definitely did a lot of research beforehand in finding out how I can streamline this post-construction temporary control measure removal. And I basically was able to take different aspects, GIS, field work, my field of expertise, maintenance, and combine them after doing all this type of research. I was also lucky that everything came at the right time, because just maybe like 6 months before I was hired on, this probably wouldn't be possible because GeoHub really wasn't there. Field Maps app was not really at that point yet. So timing always plays a role, but that's luck. Luck is always a role in these type of innovations too. Getting the idea, having the right technology to do it always plays some of a role. But I did my research on this, and I was able to come to the conclusion that it was viable, and I just went with it after that, and it's pretty much exploded, not just for this innovation, but for multiple other innovations as well.
Why is it important to innovate and share your ideas?
Well, as we can see with all these innovations, not just mine, but the others throughout CDOT, it helps create more efficient work. It can improve safety. It's better for the environment. Innovations is basically how you move forward. As we see, we live in a very, very technological age, like maybe too technological in certain aspects, but we want to take advantage of what we have now and try to use it to make our work even more efficient, safer, and more environmentally friendly. That's basically the main points of innovation, and it's the best thing that we can really do at CDOT and any government entity, because many are falling behind on technology and innovation, and it's really cool that CDOT really promotes innovation.